Good evening, you're watching TVS Nightline with me, Douglas Elliott. We begin with our top story. Kuching City is now graced with a new icon in the form of the Satok Suspension Bridge. Built in the 1920s, the bridge was closed to the public in 1992 and collapsed in 2004 and was not in service ever since. However, in 2017, the government breathed new life into the bridge with a cost of over 8 million ringgit. Chief Minister Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg officially reopened the bridge this evening. The construction of the Sejingkat Bridge, an alternative road connecting Kuching and Samarahan, will enhance the coastal road connectivity, and it is set to benefit 2 million road users in Sarawak. Chief Minister Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said the state government has allocated 11 billion ringgit for the road network improvement project, which includes the construction of 14 bridges.
He added the construction will alleviate the heavy congestion in the area due to the population boom in the area. At the same time, he said the improved connectivity will open up socio-economic sectors and ease of access to facilities such as healthcare and education.
This is the last bridge that will connect the coastal highway, connecting all the various points along the coastal highway. And we are building altogether 14 bridges. 14 bridges. Some which are a very long bridge. One of it is Sejingkat Bridge. And that will, as you know, melengkapkan semua jalan raya ataupun highway pesisir kita. Perbelanjaan semua seperti mana yang kita fahamkan ialah termasuklah jalan-jalan yang kita perbaiki rehabilitation di naik taraf. Altogether is 11 billion. And the period of construction is from now until to the whole coastal highway until about 2026. That is about 6 years. And that will upgrade our economic activities in all sectors, including tourism, agriculture, services, and other relevant sectors.
Once completed, the Sejingkat Bridge will be the third longest in the country and will complete the mega 896-kilometer coastal highway across the state.
The MELAKA state election results have shown two clear indications. Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said that the people want a stable government. The second indication, he said, is that the people are rejecting the frog-jumping culture, which he refers to as the party-hopping tendencies among politicians.
There are two messages very clear. MELAKA. Number one, stable government. The people want a very stable government, strong. That is number one. Number two, frogging culture. People don't like frogging culture. Katakan budaya kata. That is why you notice one party kosong. Supposed to be a very strong party. Dia datang ke Sarawak jual. So let me learn from that lesson. The two message very clear. People got fed up with keadaan yang tidak certain.
On Saturday, Barisan Nasional BN won the MELAKA state election with a two-third majority when they won 21 out of 28 seats at the 15th state election. Of the 21 seats, UMNO won the most seats, followed by MCA with 2 seats and MIC with 1 seat. Before the 15th state election, UMNO held only 13 out of the 28 seats. Meanwhile, Pakatan Harapan PH only won 5 seats, where 4 of them were won by DAP and the other seat by Amanah. PKR lost all 11 seats that they contested in, while Perikatan Nasional won only 2 seats.
Political stability brings prosperity, and political stability is possible when there are unity and harmony among the people. Those are the main drivers towards achieving a developed state status by the year 2030. Dato' Sri Fadila Yusuf said if there was no unity among the people, the political situation would not be stable and all government plans would not be implemented smoothly and swiftly.
Pergelutan yang menyebabkan kita hilang fokus dalam menyusun pembangunan negara kita. Sebab bila dah stabil, barulah yang lain kita dapat fokus sebenarnya. Apatah lagi dalam keadaan kini itu, kita berhadapan dengan pandemik COVID. Maknanya sudut kesihatan, keselamatan, kehidupan rakyat kita kena jaga.
According to the Works Minister, the government is now focused on recovering the country's economy after the COVID-19 pandemic affected the people's livelihoods.
Jadi lebih memerlukan untuk kita stabil supaya semua orang akan duduk berbincang, cari jalan. Macam ni kita nak menyelamatkan rakyat dalam sudut kesihatan. Pada masa yang sama kita nak menggerakkan ekonomi supaya rakyat tu akan dapat pendapatan, dapat menggerakkan kehidupan mereka dan dapat hidup dalam keadaan kesejahteraan. Dan ia memerlukan kemakmuran. Kemakmuran akan hanya tercapai bila kita bersatu padu.
Meanwhile, on the federal road development implemented nationwide, Fadila said it was the Work Ministry's responsibility to plan the development. At the same time, the ministry coordinates and monitors those projects and any other projects under the ministry's purview.
Dan jalan persekutuan utama di negeri Sarawak hanyalah Jalan Pen Borneo. Manakala jalan lain ialah di bawah bidang kuasa kajian negeri. Tapi pada masa yang sama, Kajian Persekutuan membantu untuk membina jalan-jalan desa, jalan luar bandar. Melalui kajian negeri disalurkan peruntukan juga. Sebabnya kita nangga keseluruhan jalan kini itu yang dirancang di negeri Sarawak di bawah Highway Network Development Plan. Khas untuk negeri Sarawak nang dah ada. Ia Kajian Persekutuan, kita bincang kajian negeri. Dan kajian negeri memfokuskan pada jalan pesisiran. Jadi jalan pesisiran ini dibiayai oleh kajian negeri.
Sarawak has invested in 3 private universities to meet the demand for skilled and talented workers in the industrial sector in the state. Deputy Chief Minister Dato' Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan said the 3 universities are Swinburne University in Kuching, Curtin University in Miri, and University of Technology Sarawak UTS in Cebu.
We are the only state to invest in 3 universities. That is Swinburne University in Kuching, Curtin University in Miri, and UTS in Cebu. Because we know the importance of university education, and we want every Sarawakian to be given the opportunity to study at university, either locally or abroad. It is important that we develop our human capital so that there is always a ready pool of talented and skilled workforce for our industries.
Awang Tengah said it had been the state government's priority to develop human capital so that a skilled and talented workforce is constantly available in line with the rapid industrial development in Sarawak. He said this at the launching of the book Sarawak Maritime Industries, A Catalyst for Economic Growth, the Book of Sarawak 2021. It was published by the Ministry of International Trade and Industry, Industrial Terminal and Entrepreneur Development Sarawak in collaboration with the Sarawak Associations of Maritime Industries Summit on Saturday.
The Sarawak State Government has allocated 114 million ringgit to develop the Cebu Industrial Park on a 61-hectare piece of land located at Jalan Sungai Ma'a and Jalan Tanjung Manis. It will be the first industrial estate to build specifically for small and medium enterprises.
Sarawak Deputy Chief Minister Dato' Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan said the industrial estate will be developed in 3 phases, whereby the first phase has started, involving earthworks, construction of roads and division of lots. Awang Tengah, who is also Sarawak Minister of International Trade and Industry, Industrial Terminal and Entrepreneur Development, said the division of lots at the estate will be based on the zonal system according to the types of industries to create a more orderly and systematic layout.
Kita akan buat dari segi zoningnya. Kalau dia melibatkan untuk food processing ke apa, then we have to have the zoning. Mana zone yang tempat untuk food processing, mana tempat untuk industri lain, ya. Jadi kita akan buat zoning. So, supaya ia akan teratur.
For the record, the state government had approved an allocation of 50 million ringgit under the 12 Malaysia Plan to finance the industrial estate development.
Memulakan langkah pertama memerlukan 1000 kekuatan. Langkah seterusnya memerlukan nekat dan juga keyakinan. Namun anda semua perlu menyokong dan juga membantu mereka kerana kepilihan itu pasti.
Saya akan pastikan Kabinet ini menekankan budaya kerja berprestasi tinggi. Justru, setiap kementerian perlu membuat perancangan jangka pendek dan jangka panjang serta mencapai sasaran yang ditetapkan. Untuk itu, setiap kementerian perlu membuktikan pencapaian awal mereka dalam tempoh 100 hari pertama.
Welcome back. Sarawak continues to show a downward trend for its COVID-19 cases, recording only 245 infections today. According to statistics provided by Sarawak Disaster Management Committee, SDMC, Kuching's number have dropped below 3 digits, standing at 70 cases on Sunday.
Other districts recording above the 20 mark are Miri with 59 cases, and both Bintulu and Cebu recorded 21 cases. Meanwhile, Samarahan, Simunjan and Lundu recorded only 1 case today. Of the total cases, 5 cases involved lung infection and required respiratory assistance, while the remaining cases were either symptomatic or with mild symptoms. SDMC also disclosed 4 deaths taking place from November 16 to 20th, which involved those between 39 to 62 years old and had a history of asthma, cancer and high blood pressure. Currently, only 6 clusters are still active in Sarawak.
The win achieved by Barisan Nasional BN in the Melaka state election is a clear indicator that the people want a strong and stable coalition to govern. According to Parti Pusaka Bumiputra Bersatu PBB Women Chief Dato Sri Fatimah Abdullah, she was confident that a similar outcome will side with Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS in the state's upcoming election.
She said peninsula-based parties, especially those who have never contested in the state, will not be able to make inroads into Sarawak. Nonetheless, Fatimah said if any peninsula-based party still wants to contest, GPS will put up a good fight. Fatimah added, GPS under the leadership of Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg has a good track record of fulfilling its promises, adding that the state has enjoyed strong revenues through the implementation of sales taxes on the oil and gas industry since 2019, as well as from oil royalty. She said the extra income ultimately benefits everyone through the construction of infrastructure like roads and bridges, as well as basic necessities like water and electricity in remote areas. On the election, she calls upon all party candidates to campaign in a mature and professional manner and urge everyone to follow and comply with the standard operating procedures set by the Election Commission EC and the State Disaster Management Committee SDMC.
Meanwhile, the Nanga Parti Pusaka Bumi Putra Bersatu (PBB) launched its own Teen 55 Bureau, which comprises of only teenage members. The bureau is launched to assist PBB's election machinery in the upcoming 12 state polls, and fittingly, its members are between the age of 17 to 20 years old.
Nangka incumbent Dr. Anwar Rapai said the Bureau has a special yet important task to monitor and increase the party's presence on social media. Their task will focus on the distribution of campaign materials such as photos, videos and messages to voters under Nangka. Anwar, who is also the PBB vice president, further revealed the team comprises of 400 teenagers from the villages and longhouses in Nangka. Communication are established via WhatsApp groups, which will enable an open channel between Nangka PBB and voters, he added. The establishment of Teen 55 Bureau is also a reflection of the upcoming polls, where campaigns are conducted primarily on social media to reach voters from all age groups.
Sarawak's United People's Party SUPP chairman Si Hua Tong aspires to recontest in the upcoming state election for the Batu Lintang seat. However, he said it is up to the discretion of the upper leaders of both Gabungan Party Sarawak and SUPP to nominate him for the third time in Batu Lintang.
My candidacy depends on decision of top leadership of TVS and also SUPP. And my keen interest to contest being the fact that I have always been constantly on the ground, serving the Batu Lintang constituent in particular and the Kuching people.
Si previously contested twice for the seat in the 2011 and 2016 state elections, but unfortunately lost against Si Chi Hao on both occasions.
I would say my best strategy is my track record. My report card having been on the ground constantly, even since the day I was defeated. And I have been with the people, and I know the problems, the issues affecting the entire area. Issues ranging from personal issues affecting them, for example, the Sokso issue, the welfare, education, citizenship, and so on. Many issues, as well as local issues such as flood-prone areas in Batu Lintang, including the food aid program by the GPS government. We are in the forefront to ensure that all these food aids reach them timely and correctly to the right target. And we have been doing it especially during the pandemic.
And advertently, Datuk Snodan Lawan, who is the Parti Rakyat Sarawak PRS Youth Chief, welcomes those who are willing to contest for the polls as Sarawak practices democracy last Friday.
Being labelled as a strong party is not a reason for Parti Pusaka Bumi Putra Bersatu or PBB machinery to be complacent. The party machinery must consistently work hard to ensure that each constituency contested becomes a strong PBB fortress. At the same time, Dr. Abdul Rahman Junaidi said the PBB election machinery should be prepared to abide with the standard operating procedures that will be implemented for the upcoming 12-state election.
According to Rahman Junaidi, the 12th-state election will be different as the house-to-house campaign is expected to be prohibited. He said, The best way to campaign is through social media by sharing information such as policies and the state government's approaches under the Gabungan Party Sarawak. Meanwhile, Dato Francis Harden Holly said opposition parties only know how to spew sweet promises with empty talk. He urged the people to choose their representatives wisely from parties that can bring development for the people. Harden, who is Simangang incumbent, said under the GPS government, the people, especially in Simangang, had received many allocations and assistances, such as the Rural Transformation Projects RTP, with a total of 5 million ringgit a year, as well as Minor Rural Projects MRP, with a total of 2 million ringgit a year.
The Ministry of Communications and Multimedia (MCMC) will punish those who are involved in any form of sexual harassment posted online. Its Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa made the statement following a news report which misconstrued his stance on the matter.
Anwar on his Facebook post stated that he had received a text message from a reporter for an interview on the glaring sexual harassment issue in the country's creative industry. However, he declined to comment and instead suggested the interview to discuss on the government's effort to help the industry. Anwar then alerted the matter to the police for further investigation.
The Malaysian government targets 80% of 5G connectivity nationwide by 2026. The launch of 5G broadband access will be held in December in Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya and Cyberjaya. While other ASEAN countries have had their 5G access coverage, Prime Minister Dr. Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob believes Malaysia is still not far behind.
Jadi Malaysia kita kira akan dapat kita samakan dengan negara-negara lain di ASEAN ini dan juga di seluruh ASEAN. Walaupun negara lain telah pun memulakan 5G, tapi kita percaya apabila pelancaran yang kita akan buat pada Disember 2021, kita tidak akan ketinggalan berbanding dengan negara-negara lain.
Meanwhile, Ismail Sabri said the government is targeting 100% 4G coverage nationwide by 2025. For the record, there are currently 94% populated area with 4G network access.
Saya akan pastikan Kabinet ini menekankan budaya kerja berprestasi tinggi. Justru, setiap kementerian perlu membuat perancangan jangka pendek dan jangka panjang serta mencapai sasaran yang ditetapkan. Untuk itu, setiap kementerian perlu membuktikan pencapaian awal mereka dalam tempoh 100 hari pertama.
Selama 58 tahun Sarawak Merdeka, kerajaan negeri telah berusaha membangunkan negeri dan mengutamakan keselesaan rakyat. Sarawak telah mencapai kemajuan pesat dalam segala aspek pembangunan dari segi fizikal, ekonomi dan sosial. Bagi mengikuti semua kemajuan yang telah dan bakal dilaksanakan, saksikan Randau Jalai Pemansang program Temu Bual berbahasa Iban bermula 17 Oktober ini setiap Ahad jam 9 malam hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan MyTV.
Thank you for staying with me. Now over in foreign front, searchers located 3 bodies swept away by landslides in British Columbia on Saturday after a record rainfall that paralyzed parts of the province, leading to flood and fuel shortages.
Canada's westernmost province declared a state of emergency after a phenomenon known as an atmospheric river brought a month's worth of rain in 2 days. The rainfall washed out roads and railways, cutting off Vancouver and the lower mainland region from the rest of the country and blocking access to some towns entirely. Members of the Canadian Air Force spent Friday, November 19th, loading empty Griffon military helicopters onto massive Globemaster III transport planes as part of flood relief efforts. The helicopters were headed for Quebec City, where the Air Force said they would be loaded with supplies before continuing onto badly impacted Abbotsford in British Columbia. Another similar weather system is forecast to hit northern British Columbia on Sunday, November 21st, and bring heavy rains to the lower mainland, according to Environment Canada.
Protesters gathered outside the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam on Saturday night to demonstrate against coronavirus measures. Organizers of the planned protest said they had cancelled the event after Friday's violence in Rotterdam, where crowds of several hundred rioters torched cars, set off fireworks and threw rocks at police.
Even though the event had been called off, several thousand protesters showed up for a march around the city's central Dam Square. The march remained peaceful, monitored by a heavy police presence. Later on Saturday evening, several hundred protesters gathered at a tourism hotspot, which was also closely watched by riot police present.
I believe that we are in one of the darkest moments of Dutch history, that we repeat history at this moment, that we exclude people who have another opinion about their medical treatment, and if they choose to do something else, they are excluded from society. And we have had a long bad history of excluding people from society, and we are repeating it right now. I think there are about 300 people over here at the Museumplein, and for me it's important, especially today, about what happened yesterday in Rotterdam, where just people, my fellow human beings, were just shot on the streets. And for me that's unacceptable, that when our political system really makes people against each other, that there's always be a reaction.
The Netherlands reimposed some lockdown measures last weekend for an initial 3 weeks in an effort to slow down a resurgence of coronavirus contagion. But daily infections have remained at their highest levels since the start of the pandemic. The parliament is divided over a plan proposed by Prime Minister Mark Rutte's government to limit access to indoor public venues to people who have a corona pass, which shows that they have been vaccinated or already recovered from an infection. Critics say the move would be divisive and discriminatory.
Een goede oplossing. Sowieso betere steunpakketten voor de horecaondernemers. Want ik spreek ook regelmatig mensen. De huur loopt gewoon door en de belastingdienst die blijft ook gewoon aankloppen. Het is niet dat dat soort dingen worden stopgezet. En dat vind ik, probeer een optie voor die mensen voor te leggen. Probeer hun te helpen bij het bekostigen van het pand. Probeer in oplossingen te denken in plaats van die mensen meer laten te betalen als wat ze verdienen.
A 4-month-old kitten named Midas was born with 2 sets of ears and an effective jaw due to a recessive genetic mutation. However, this does not stop her to become an internet star with over 73,000 followers online.
Her name comes from the mythological king of Phrygia, who was cursed with donkey ears. Midas was adopted by her owner in the Turkish capital of Ankara after being born in a friend's backyard with 6 other siblings. She and her husband fell in love with Midas at first sight and decided to take her in, believing her chances of adoption were lower than her siblings due to her unique condition.
We have never thought of buying a cat. We just wanted to rescue a cat from the street, and we wanted to adopt her. And I hope Midas' popularity can raise an awareness of adopting, not buying.
According to her vet, the additional ears do not affect her health or hearing in general. What sets her apart from other cats with similar genetic abnormalities is that all 4 of the ear laps are connected to the ear canal.
Midas genetik bir mutasyon sonucu 4 kulak kepçesiyle doğdu. Fakat diğer 4 kulaklı kedilerden farklı olarak Midas'ın her 2 kulak kepçesi de kulak kanalına bağlı durumda. Ayrıca da alt çenesi yanlardan birazcık daha genişlemiş durumda. Bu nedenle de dili sürekli dışarıda görünüyor. Fakat bu mutasyonun Midas'ın genel sağlığına hiçbir etkisi yok. Hayatını diğer kediler gibi devam ettirebilecek durumda.
And that's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. For the latest development, follow our website TVSTVMY or follow us on our social media. I'm Douglas Elliott. Thank you and have a good week ahead.